All right. So, all right. So it's great to meet with you
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
We're glad to be here again. Kind of seeing where we can go with this.
Mm.
I know that last time that our companies met, we didn't come to quite the agreement.
Right.
Just with a couple of holdups.
Right. And I think with that being said, I think that our teams have done good,
Hmm.
and I think that they've been able to do really well throughout the negotiation thus far. But if we can't find some sort of compromise on this clause, then I just don't think we're going to be a good fit.
Okay.
So hopefully we can figure out something.
Yeah, and we'd love to make things work for us both. 'Cause I
Right.
see a great opportunity here with us. One for your company as well as for us, as we're building this foundation of this mall. Um, and so we were just wondering, like, what were some of your biggest holdups with what we kind of proposed?
Right. So there's a couple things.
Mhm.
First off, the economy goes up, it goes down.
For sure.
Different things sell well, different things don't, different times of the year, etc. And with our experience, if in the unlikely event that discount doesn't perform well in the
Hmm.
mall, we need to be able to get out from under the thumb as soon as possible.
Okay.
And with that, we would like the freedom to be able to sell our
Mhm.
lease instead of having you guys sell it, just because the more parties that are involved, the longer it takes. And
Okay.
if we're losing money, we need to get out because the longer it takes, that's just more money. So being able to sell the contract ourselves is really important to us. Um, and we in other stores, we are able to sublet about a fourth of the store to like complementary vendors. An
Hmm.
example I could give of that would be like if you go into a Macy's, they generally have like a Sephora corner,
Okay.
something like that, which sells
For sure.
makeup, things like that. Because we'd like to be able to bring in those brand names that are gonna help boost discounts, and in turn, that's gonna help boost them all, bring in more foot
Hmm.
traffic, things like that. So just being able to do that, having flexibility on that, as well as being able to um, test things out regionally before we send them out nationally. We're a 200 plus store company.
Hmm.
We know what we're doing. We've made really good money, and we like to test things out. And this store might be a store that we decide to push a product that's just slightly out of the soft good range
Hmm.
to test it out, see if it's something we want to launch nationally. And those are kind of the concerns or interests that we have. And if those can be met, then I think that we can come to an agreement.
Okay. Um, I think so. Like now that you guys kind of you got a lot out on the table,
Right.
like we want to be kind of honest and open with you
Mhm.
guys. Some of our big concerns were that, like, you're kind of one of those big companies that we're looking to help bring in other like smaller companies with that,
Right.
with your name, because like you said, you bring in a lot of traffic.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we want a little bit of stability
Mhm.
here. We kind of looked at your contract and that Article 22 and saw that there's a lot of opportunity for not only for you guys to go ahead and just leave and sell, but there's opportunities for us to go ahead and then have the whole mall collapse potentially because of losing a lot of traffic.
Right.
And
Right.
and so we wanted to go ahead and like look at options to do that, to make it work both. One option that we've come up with for you is going ahead and allowing some subcon or subletting,
Mhm.
but with regards to our other tenants, making it so there's non-competes with them. Um,
Yeah, no, and that's something that I think that is fair. I mean, we understand that if the mall doesn't perform, and if by some way the mall goes under, discount's going to go under the store, because we're
mhm.
not going to have a place to be.
For sure.
And we don't want to push out the little guys. Everyone starts out as a little
Yeah,
guy. Discount started out as a little guy at some point,
for sure.
And we don't want to. We really don't want to have any direct competition. If anything, we want to have complementary items.
Okay.
So I think as far as that portion of the agreement goes, if we can come to an agreement that we could have a fourth of the premises to use as we see fit for complementary vendors, and the products that they're going to be selling aren't going to be in direct competition. You know what I could do for you to make it at ease for you is I could even make it so you personally or a member of your team can sit down with me as I'm interviewing these different vendors, and if you feel for whatever reason, or that your member feels for whatever reason that it's in direct competition with the satellite, then we can try and hash it out. And if it doesn't look like it's going to work, then we take things from a different angle, you know.
Okay.
But I just think that if we can come to an agreement on that, I think that would be perfect for this portion of the contract.
Yeah, I think that would be a great addition to what we have going so far, and we can work with that.
Okay.
Because we see the benefit to having extra places within as well.
Right.
And so we just want to be able to make sure that they're withholding the standards that we're expecting for this mall, because we see this mall as something that it brings in certain types of stores rather than coming in, like say we put like a Home Depot within here.
Right.
That would take away from the atmosphere what we're going for.
Right. And I think that your concern with that is very valid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it would be addressed if you personally or a member of your team was sitting on that with me, so we could kind of help choose a complementary vendor together.
Okay.
I think that that's a fair trade-off.
I think that's good. One thing that we wanted to even look at with going ahead and subletting, there's opportunities to gain more revenue for both of us, and we're thinking maybe that we could go ahead and boost up for 1 year subletting. We can go ahead and up the terms a little bit of the price to go ahead and make it so it's a little bit better for us at the same time, because we're putting our neck out there a little bit. Maybe a 10% increase with the subletting.
I'll have to talk with the CFO to kind of get some things worked out on that. But I think that that's fair. Maybe we could give you a portion of something, because we've already agreed not to go back and discuss the previous things as far as rent space and the price per square footage. But we could definitely talk a little bit in the future about some sort of percentage of the revenue or something like that. I think that that's understandably fair.
Okay.
As long as we have a vendor in that subletted space. But if we're just using that space for normal discount goods, then obviously there would be nothing there for that. So.
For sure. So everything else is seeming like it's working out pretty okay. I think the approval was kind of one of our biggest concerns, is making it so we have that stability. And I think coming to that agreement of only a quarter being leased out is comfortable for us with our approval process as well.
Okay.
Is there any other concerns that you all have?
I guess really I mentioned it, just being able to sell, test some things that are kind of out of the soft goods range. And like I said, we're not looking to be in direct competition. But one of the things that we're kind of toying with the idea of is like some household appliances. I would imagine you don't have any satellites, any boutiques in the middle of this, mall there selling like refrigerators and stuff. But that's just kind of the direction that we're looking at right now. And because we're trying to think on how we can make this work for both of us, and we've got each other's interests at heart. I'll keep you in the loop as well with the different kind of products that we're thinking about bringing in. And again, if that's something that you feel is going to be in direct competition, like I said, we don't want to squash the little guy. So you can be involved in that process as well.
Okay, and understandably, that is something that every business wants to do, is they want to grow and expand their businesses. And so as if we can write that into our contracts under our approval process as well, kind of going along the same lines of where you're subletting, we can go ahead and include that into the non-competes and others.
I think that's a fair trade. And the last thing that I was kind of mentioning is, like I said, it's very unlikely it's going to happen. But if discount for whatever reason isn't performing the way that we're forecasting or expecting, we need to be able to get out as soon as possible.
For sure.
And with that being said, we've got the mall's interest at heart. We don't want to just, like you said, sell it to a mini Lowe's or Home Depot, because that's not going to fit good with the mall. But it does need to be something that happens quickly. And with that being said, generally, we'd like to be able to get out within a week.
Okay.
And that that may seem a little quick, but it's definitely doable, especially if you guys are willing to help us out as far as finding a viable candidate, because we don't really care who we sell to. We obviously want to make sure the mall's in good standing, but if we just need to get out, we just need to get out.
Okay.
So if we can have that in the contract as well, that you'll put somebody on it to help us get out within a week or as quickly as humanly possible, then I think that we've got a deal.
Okay. So typically with getting out of places, like in a work atmosphere or anything, it's about a 2 week notice, right?
Right.
And so if we can go ahead and make it at least a 2 week notice, that way we have some time to have a little bit more time to work with it. I think that would help us out.
Right.
And I think with that said as well, maybe that we can get a second anchor within our mall, and that way there's still something that draws people there, and it allows for you to be able to move out a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and you know, I can even do a step better. As soon as we're even thinking about selling, I'll let you guys know. That way you can start looking for viable candidates as well as
Okay.
us, because it's not a decision that's made overnight.
Correct.
But when we've made that decision that yes, we are for sure going to sell, we'd really like to push it to see if we can get out within that week. And we understand that
Okay.
some things just aren't humanly possible, but we just really want your help in being able to do that just by finding viable candidates.
And we can make that ability to go quick, because I think with being able to find our gather our committee together, to be able to approve the process, we can gather that ASAP, to make it convenient for you guys and make it so we can get someone in there as quick as we can, so that both parties benefit.
All right, perfect. I think that if we can agree on everything that's been said, I think we've got a deal.
Yeah, I
All
think
right,
that's
perfect.
good.
Awesome.